All right, letting the recording start. Testing, testing. Hey, yo, que paso? It's your boy Octagon Jones. I hope you're doing well. You should be because you're about to be watching a wonderful fighter interview. Before we start, I want to make sure you go like the video because I bet you will. Subscribe because I bet you won't. And then, let us know if you have any thoughts or comments in the comment section below. I'm joined today by bantamweight rising star, young pride of the Lone Star State, the man working to steal Dan Ige's nickname. They never yawn because he makes it look easy. Mr. Knockout himself, Adrian Yanez. How are you, my freaking guy?
Oh, man, I'm doing great, man. Fight's right on the corner, man. I'm blessed. I'm excited. I'm ready to go.
Absolutely. So I won't keep you too long. I know you got a busy schedule. We got a few community questions, mostly from Twitter, that will fire off at you. Some are not about fights at all. Some are very specifically. So we'll just feel it out, and then we'll dive into a few of my own. Then we'll get you out of here.
All right, cool. Sounds good to me.
All right, awesome. So our first question is from @EliteSavage, and he asks, aside from mixed martial arts and merchandise, what other endeavors are you interested in when it comes to building your brand outside of the octagon?
Man, honestly, when it comes to that, I've been actually looking into get into the real estate market. I've been trying to see what suits my fancy as well too. Am I trying to go more into stocks, trying to find something else where I can like venture off and try to see where else I could build wealth? Because man, like I don't want to become like my biggest thing is I don't want to become another 30 for 30. Get all the stuff, all of a sudden be broke by the end of it. So. That's where I've been at. I've been trying to look to see financially where I can gain, where I can invest the money from fighting, so I don't have to worry about having to fight way too long. I want to fight just because I love it. So that's my thing. I fight because I love it, but the getting paid for it has just been another blessing on top of blessings. So it's been amazing, but I want to invest that money and try to make sure that I'm good for the rest of my life.
For sure, because there's a ton of cautionary tales about it. And I think you mentioning real estate, especially where we are, we're both Texas boys. I think that's a great look for you because the housing market here has been, it's crazy. It's one of the most desirable in the nation. So I think that's a really good spot for you to be. Unmatched MMA Podcasts asks, as a fan of the sport, what's your dream fight to see what's your dream fight to see and why? They didn't specify, so I'll go right now. Active fighters.
Active fighters, dream fight.
That's a tough one because there's so many.
Honestly, it probably would have been man, that is a really good one. If we're going for the weight classes, if we're for the champs of different weight classes, I would love to have seen John Jones and Ngannou, just because that's the one that sticks more out, the most out there. But all the stories.
I feel like Izzy and Jones is also right under there too, huh? Even though Izzy's coming off that.
Yeah, that light heavyweight loss is kind of like hindering me, but also at the same time, it's like it's John Jones, and like I'm pretty sure John Jones will be like, no, I can outstrike this kid too. So it would end up being a good fight, but
Jones and Ngannou
excites me more, especially seeing how much weight he's put on. But also the stories, like you hear the stories of Khabib, like throwing around these middleweights, kind of makes me feel like, man, I think him versus Kamaru Usman would have been a fun, interesting matchup as well.
That's really interesting when you have somebody as dominant as him, like take a Khabib or take even a Cejudo, right? I like to sit up late at night and imagine like him going up to 45, to 50, and then see Khabib going up to, welterweight, and because there's always like, even though you can accomplish it all in your field, right? But there's always, for the fan, there's always one more thing you can do. So that's something that I think about a lot. And the John Jones Francis Ngannou fight, that's crazy. We'll probably get it next year, hopefully. All goes well.
Well, if Derek Lewis doesn't spoil any plans.
Dude, that fight's going to be crazy. We'll get back to the community questions, and I know I don't know if this is a weird topic for you, but what do you think about that interim championship getting like the opportunity 3 months after Francis Ngannou wins the undisputed title?
Man, honestly, I think it's just been one of those. It was one of those where I think Ngannou was saying no to almost every everything every offer that was put out there. He was saying no. He was saying no, and Derek Lewis has been saying yes. I know, I know a couple people in his camp, and a lot of them were saying like he's been yes nonstop. Like the only difference was like somebody somebody was saying like, all right, well, as long as he's getting paid the same, that's all he cares about. He didn't really care if it was for a title or not. He just cared about getting paid, and he wants the real belt. So fighting for the interim title, I think it was pretty much like on the UFC's behalf, wanting to keep that Houston card, because they made the Houston card specifically trying to make it a John Jones, not John Jones, Derek Lewis versus Ngannou.
Absolutely.
That's originally what they wanted, but since Ngannou had said no to everything, I think he said yes only to September 28th, I believe, which Derek was like, he wants to fight, like doesn't matter, he just wants to fight, and he heard nothing back from Ngannou, so it's pretty much all pretty much like, hey, like this is the for sure date, so he just signed the contract. So
yeah, it's just business and stuff, huh?
Yeah, the interim I think is just basically solely on the UFC. And Cyril Gane just jumping on the opportunity, so
that kid's talented, man.
I think it's just I think honestly it was just on the UFC's behalf, because I think the interim title is just going to be to specify like you are the one that's next in line.
Yeah, and the two belts, no matter if one's interim, like that always helps on a poster.
Oh yeah, so it's cool. To me, I find it cool because, man, you're gonna get Derek Lewis fighting for a heavyweight championship belt in Houston, the hometown, and I was hoping to be a part of that, but
dude,
it doesn't happen.
We've been campaigning for months, bro. I don't understand what we have to do to get you in Houston, but I think that it's God's plan. I think that down the road for a bigger, brighter stage, it's gonna happen right when it needs to. I try to look at things glass half full, and I'm really bummed that you couldn't have gotten on any of these recently, but it'll come, Adrian. I think so.
Oh, yeah. No, honestly, if I'm being quite honest with you, after that first one, the 262 fell through, like it kind of took the wind out my sails of fighting it at home. It was just like, because that was the biggest one. That was like, that's the biggest one.
Oh, it was huge.
And it was like, oh, it's the first one back in Houston. Now it's like, I feel like the stigma is kind of gone. I still have the aspirations of fighting in the Toyota Center. That's still a thing, but
of course,
it's like the big letdown. It kind of like makes you like, man, fuck.
Yeah. Well, speaking of home and Derek Lewis, we hear that their city. There's how real is that? How real is Derek Lewis's star in the city of Houston?
Oh, Derek Lewis's star is pretty huge, man. It's big. It's big, man. Like it's honestly he's a big inspiration to a lot of people, man, because especially during Harvey.
Like, the floods, yeah.
All the floods were going on. He just popped in his truck and just started going around just picking up people who needed to be helped. And that's what like Houston's about. Houston's about giving a helping hand any single time that you need help. Of course, we might be a little bit more frustrated with each other, but at the same time, like Houston is so Houston, and we love it. Like everybody's just like so caring to a fault. So it's one of those. And Derek Lewis is kind of pretty much he kind of shows how Houston is. He's a great representation of Houston. Bullshit, shoot the shit, and also doesn't take himself seriously, and also like whenever it comes to actually coming, giving a helping hand, he's the guy that they'll go out there and do it. So he's a great representation of the city, and it shows with the support that he gets from Houston.
Is there anything that you are looking at getting involved with your local community as a fighter once you start climbing these ranks and having a more prominent face in the community? Like what are you eyeballing? Getting involved at all?
There's actually a couple of organizations that I'm looking at, just kind of vetting out. But there's one that I like, that I really really like, and I think it's more along the lines of like not just like it's really kind of more like more helping out the kids, if anything. It's
gotta love it. Wu-Tang.
yeah,
Yep.
it's like more helping out the kids because it's like it's a foster foster nonprofit for foster homes, and I've been looking at them very a lot, and I know somebody who does work for them, so I've been looking at it. So I'm hoping to get myself in a better position so I can actually start using whatever platform I have or whatever donations I can make and help them out. So it helps them in the long run, man, because like I started looking into it. I was like, man, these kids are fighting an uphill battle that's not set for them to win. So it really sucks.
Yeah.
It really, really sucks because like for like I think like this, like someone like me who had two parents growing up is like it was almost like looking at what they are or what not what they are, but like where they're coming from and where I came from. It was like a layup for me to do this. It's like they have to work so much harder to get there, and then also like the system really doesn't even care for them. So to me, man, it's like I want to look at. I've been looking at that, and I was like, it's like I've been thinking about it for a while, and I like whenever I start getting more and I start like having a bigger platform, I definitely want to throw my hat in and start helping out with them, especially.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. That means a lot. Like to me, you know, that's something that resonates and hits home. And I just, of course, this is just the beginning. I know you're at the beginning of your UFC tenure. You're still trying to get yourself set, but that's just something that, you know, it's promising to see that you already have your eyes set on that, because that shows what kind of heart you have as a person and a fighter. So that's really good stuff, Adrian. Let's get back to these questions. That's why I stopped doing interviews. I'll be honest, because I keep dudes way too long. So we'll speed it up. Christy 2141166 would love to know if you have any pre-fight rituals or superstitions.
Man, no really pre-fight rituals, but like superstition, I'd probably have to go back and just honestly, it's just one of those like my dad had a hat. My dad had a hat, and we had to have my dad's hat around us at all times for the fight. You know, I gave it to my brother after my dad passed away. So pretty much it was a Marine Corps hat that signed by Cain Velasquez, and he wore it for my debut and wore it every single one of my until he passed away. But once like pretty much they gave me the hat, and I was like, it's not my hat. So I gave it to my brother, and I'm like, look, this is yours now. He's worn it for every single fight after. And well, at the UFC they only let us wear their hats. You can't wear really any other hat. So my brother just keeps it on him as close to him as possible. So it's just that, I guess that's superstitious, or is that I don't know which one that is. That's
a good question. I don't know. Like I'm saying, you asked a good question. I don't know if that's ritualistic or superstitious, but no doubt that's special. Like that's a special thing. So, you know, that's that, and it's sweet that you and your brother, like, you know, he's gone, but y'all can share that forever. Like y'all can share the memory. You know, really awesome. Are you there? Oh, you just like kind of lagged out for a second. Sorry. This one's a little this one's a little goofy, I guess. We'll just dive in, and then we'll get into the real stuff. So Jake McSweeney Music asks, and this is deep philosophy, okay? So like you've got to put your thinking cap on. You already got it on. Is the Kool-Aid Man the liquid or the jar?
Man, you know what? I think he's actually the jar.
Ooh, because that's where his eyes and mouth are.
Yeah, like I think that's he just like, hey, look, our face is our face, but our blood's our blood. I think the Kool-Aid is blood, and you know, it just sucks that he has an open top that where most of the fluid.
So if he falls over, he's done.
Yeah, he's done. He lost like 50% of his blood. So like that's what I think. That's what I think. The Kool-Aid Man, I think he's a container, but the Kool-Aid is glass. And honestly, the more I think about it, I'm like, that's kind of sick.
Yeah, it's well. Oh man, so when I was a kid, we would sit on the back of the bus making yo mama jokes, and so one I came up with that I'm really proud. I thought I came up with it. The internet would probably disagree, but as a 9-year-old kid riding in the back of the bus, I'm like, brain blast.
Yeah.
So you rate this yo mama joke 1 out of 10, all right? Yo mama is so ugly that when the Kool-Aid man busts through the back of the wall, he says, "Oh no."
That's a good one. That's
Pretty good, right?
Oh,
All right. So let's get down to the brass tacks. I've got a little more than a handful of questions. We'll try to get through them though. So, looking at your UFC career so far from a vantage, it's been scary season with the Halloween debut, late notice replacement opponent on the undercard of one of your favorites, right? Anderson Silva.
yeah.
And then the night you were heretofore dubbed the Mr. Knockout by Brendan Fitzgerald. Seems like you're compiling this fun, fan-friendly, memorable start to your UFC career. What's the key to keeping the momentum going? At this rate, things can get ramped up pretty quick.
Oh, yeah. You just had to not lose focus and not lose sight and continue to perform, because that's the biggest thing. You can work as hard as you want in the gym. You just have to continually perform inside the octagon. You have to keep performing inside the cage, and that's the most important. You got to make sure you're on 100%, and then also at the same time, like what I've been noticing a lot is that people just love the transparency of the transparency. So even if me and Randy go to war and one of us loses, we're transparent about it. I'm pretty sure we're not losing any fans.
That's a guarantee.
Yeah,
that's a guarantee.
So as long as you're transparent, I think you're going to be loved by everybody, anyways. But honestly, I just had to keep performing, and once I perform and I get this knockout, then I'm pretty sure it's just going to be on a skyrocket.
And you're feeling confident with the round 2. What's the deal with round 2 this year? That's the new knockout round.
Yeah, because I'm more of a strategic. I'm very strategic, and I try to be very calculated with what I do. And man, honestly, like that first round, I used to want to say first round every single time, but I've noticed that I need to get the timing. I need to do this, need to do that. Like I know what type of fighter I am, and I just feel way more confident in my second round than I do in my first round. The first round, I'm very confident, very high. But once I know, like, oh, this is how fast you jab is. Oh,
you got to get touched by the guy. You got to touch him. Yeah.
And once I find that out, it's like a downhill ride for the other guy. So that's why I'm very confident in my second round knockout.
Well, I think a lot of the fans appreciate you because you're so like in the cage. Like we'll talk about the outside of the cage stuff too, but a lot of fans appreciate you inside of the cage because you're only 27, yet you've got this composure and this like demeanor of calmness, like you were talking about. And the tactician's mindset. I think that is something that's really endearing for fans because you see this young kid with power and potential, and he's not running into the knockout, chasing things like that's something that's really exciting for us. And I think that's part of why you've developed such a fan base so far is because of your maturity inside the octagon.
Oh yeah, that's great.
I that's just what I think because everyone loves young fighters. Like that's just the nature of the game, but there's something a little bit special about you with the UFC fans. So I think that could be a part of it. Besides the fact that you're dashingly handsome, and great on camera. Let's see. So we're going to go back to before your UFC days. What's it like bouncing around before getting to the UFC? From LFA to Fury Fighting to Legacy and an appearance on Bellator. Do you have any advice for fighters navigating the different routes and promotions and circuits on the way to the big show?
Honestly, I would give on the regional show, man, if you're fighting in your hometown, man, you have to sell tickets. Like ticket selling, making sure that you are doing because there's a couple routes you can take. You can be that guy that consistently travels to go fight, and sometimes you get paid a lot less. You'll probably get like 2 and 2 if you go out, but if you stay home, you'll probably get 6 and 6 depending if you sell tickets or not. So, man, like there's a lot of benefits of staying home, and there's a lot of benefits of you flying out to go flying out to fight to go somewhere because you get to kind of see the world or see the United States for that matter. So my biggest thing is if you're gonna fight for someone, make sure that you trust the promoter, you like the promotion, you feel like they're gonna do something. If they have their best interest in you. So, like I know for myself, I was with LFA for a very long time. LFA was Legacy Fighting Championship before it turned into LFA, and I was with Legacy.
Oh, my bad.
So back when Mick Maynard, who was the matchmaker for the UFC, he was the owner of Legacy, and I fought for Legacy my whole entire amateur career, and then I fought for them a couple times as a pro before they turned into LFA, but I was in good talks with Fury Fighting Championship with Eric Garcia and all them, and they didn't mind the constant back and forth, especially earlier on. But honestly, you just have to find what's your best interest and see if it's better for you to fight home, if it's better for you to go out and fight somewhere else. Especially for Texas fighters and like Houston fighters, I would say, man, look, your best bet is to fight for Fury because they're on UFC Fight Pass. On UFC Fight Pass, you get the chance to be on a good promotion. On a good promotion, then also at the same time, like you're fighting at home, you get the chance to earn commission on your ticket sales. I was like, that's the best part. Like you can earn more. Like you can earn more instead of going to another place. Like you got to go to Arkansas, you got to go to Florida.
Yeah, then that's not your scene.
Yeah, and then also too, whenever you go over there, you might be seeing the world on somebody else's dime, but you're not getting paid You're not getting paid the good money to fight. Which good money on the regional circuit, maybe 5-5, maybe 6-6. For a lot of these fighters, they're still working, and they're still they're still working. They're still trying to make ends meet on their own. So getting that extra income, being able to fight at home, and then on top of that, being able to sell more tickets and get a 10-20% boost on your fight purse, is always great. It's always better.
That's a big deal, especially at that level.
Oh yeah, like every penny counts because man, dude, that check might help save paying their rent for them or paying their house bill, whatever they got in life, So it just really depends.
Yeah, that's interesting because I think that for a guy like you, a lot of people outside of the UFC will see you and be like, damn, like he's doing exactly what I want to be doing. He's on the path that I want to be. So I just thought that I'd get some advice for them from you because, you're the man.
Yeah. Honestly, just make sure that you don't let a promoter talk you into taking a fight. If you don't feel comfortable taking a fight, don't take it. Don't accept something that you feel you're not worth, and then also there's two sides of that. Make sure you're taking something that it's not worth your time. So don't if you feel like you should be getting paid 6-6, but they're trying to pay you 2-2, don't take that 2-2. Know your worth, and then also the promoter does need the fighters. So like the fighters are what supply like the entertainment for everybody else. And if you go out there and you perform, hey, look, you got a little bit of leverage. But nowadays, there's like the fighters are a dime a dozen, so it's kind of harder to it's kind of harder to be able to like, hey, I like let's just say like I'll go back to myself. If I go in there and I fight and I'm putting on great performances, but like I'm kind of giving the promoter a little bit of grief here and there, he may not use me anymore. So you got to have a happy working relationship with the person, but also it's also a give and take. If you're out there and you're selling so many tickets, like you're selling 200, 300, 400 tickets, and they're all there for you, man, you have a lot of leverage because the next time they fight, they don't put you on, and and
then they're not there. Yeah.
hit that hit, they're gonna know. Like, hey, so sometimes, man, if you hustle, man, I'm telling you, it's really great. Like my training partner Jacob Silva, man, made most of his money off of ticket sales, commission sales, and man, like it worked out really well for him, and you could hear the crowd come just for him. So it like hearing that in the arena is pretty cool. Like it's like the Conor McGregor effect over there in Ireland, and he had like such a base community and had such a strong base that whenever they were there, it was all for him. So if I was a fighter, I'd tell him build your base at home and make sure you get it bigger, because that's another advantage of fighting at home.
Yeah, absolutely. Great insights, dude. That's really valuable stuff. In your, so you only appeared in Bellator one time, right? And it was, you got that decision win over Ryan Hollis, but it was actually like kind of a crazy night for the history books, because Adrian Yanez, who's now 27, you're still 27, right?
Oh, yeah.
So Adrian Yanez fighting on the same card as one Royce Gracie and like a Shamrock. That's pretty nuts. And it was also the same night as the Kimbo Slice Dada 5000. Rest in peace, you know. But like, dude, what was that night like, if you remember? Was it crazy then?
Man, it was pretty nuts, and it was kind of like one of those moments that I was like, holy shit. Like I was looking and I seeing the weigh-in, seeing everything else around me, just seeing Royce Gracie, seeing Ken Shamrock, and then also too, I was walking down, like it was the weigh-in days, and I was walking down the hall and I see Kimbo Slice. I was like, oh shit, that's Kimbo. He just looks at me and gives me the deuce. Just chunks of the
What
deuce.
does he call you, Ponytail Junior? No, I'm just joking.
He just chunked the deuce and walked on. I was like, dude, that made my night. I was like, this is so fucking cool. But man, like it honestly was, that night was actually really fun. It was really great. That I couldn't have wrote that night any differently, because I remember that night because I sold the most amount of tickets I've ever sold that night. So like I was able to go back after the fight and go up and sit and watch the fights with everybody, and just take pictures with all the family, because like it was fun, man. I loved that night.
Hell yeah. So we got to talk about it sooner or later. MMA Twitter, right? Your attitude towards staying connected and based with your fans. What's special about that for you? You're endearing yourself quite keenly to the community in a way that a lot of fighters, like, I don't know, maybe they feel like they don't have the time for, and rightfully so, because you know it's a lot of work that y'all do. So why is that special for you?
Man, honestly, for me, it's always kind of been like, anytime I've got like, I'll go back and just say it just like this. Whenever I think I was 17, 18, and I got tweeted back by John Jones. I remember the feeling that I felt. Mm-hmm. And that to me was like, that felt great. And then also at the same time, like even coming up in LFA and everything, you know, talking back to fighters here and there, talking back to people who were just fans, I was like, man, these guys are pretty cool. And not everybody is a dick on here and all that stuff. So I've been actually like very blessed to not run into those negative guys. So like I've been being able to talk back and forth with a lot of people, man. So it's pretty cool, man. It's and it's also just like, man, if I get like a little bit of an hour downtime, like from relaxing, from training and all that stuff, man, I'll sit back on Twitter and just start replying, because man, if it wasn't for the fans, man, we wouldn't have a job. Like we wouldn't have. It's like Burger King wouldn't have that big of like a revenue if it wasn't for the people that go into Burger King every single day, or like those guys who consistently go. So like, hey, you got to appreciate them, and I appreciate every single one of them. Especially, man, like this last time around, from October to March has been like crazy. It's been nuts. And then on top of that, like I had merch for my last fight for Gustavo that sold out like in days. The merch that I got now, we ordered more, and man, we're already like down to like running low, and I'm just like, oh man, we still got We still have
Oh no, bro. Oh no, I gotta get mine soon.
Yeah, we still have like another week and a half to the fight, and it's like man, like we're running super low, and even after we did the style fight, we still kept selling merch. I was like, man, this is great. So I can't turn away from that, man. Like they support me. Like I don't even like to call MMA Twitter fans. Like they're supporters, man. Because I know there. I feel like there's a negative connotation behind fans, but I feel like they help support. They're helping support a fighter in their career, and that's what I feel they are. They are supporters, and they help out. Like no matter what, like if MMA Twitter is like also been one of those promotional things that's helped get this fight as big as it is. So man, I can't call them a fan. They supported it, and they helped support getting this fight to be bigger than what it originally was.
This fight's gonna be really nuts, Adrian. My next question is actually specifically about the fight. So the way I kind of look at this, it's not, when I say what I'm about to say, I don't mean it like necessarily physically or even style wise, but when you look at two 27-year-old guys, two guys with maybe three fights in the UFC, when you look at this matchup and like, I don't know, it almost is like you're fighting in a mirror promotionally. You're like, okay, like instead of, okay, we got two of these young stars right here, instead of letting them and then meet up here, it's already right here. Like, so like what, well, I just want to hear a little bit about what you think about fighting somebody in your similar, like, potential age, like all of those brackets that y'all seem to share. What are your thoughts on that?
Man, honestly, I think it's really cool. Because man, it's a make or break. You know, it's like win or lose. This is a make or break you. Like if you take the loss, is it gonna make you? Is it gonna break you? Are you gonna look at this and be like, fuck, and then kind of go downhill, or do you take the loss and go up? Even with the win, do you even like it's even the same thing with the win? Like, do you take this and like, oh, you just did all this stuff? Like, do you take it and then all of a sudden just like you let it get to your head and you drop, or do you take it and be like, I just beat a prospect in Randy Costa and ride the wave up and do everything correctly? Because also you can take the you can get a win and then all of a sudden think you're big headed and then you don't do enough. You start like falling off. So you got like honestly, this is one of those that's like this will actually really set what's going to happen for your future. Win or lose, this will set up what's next for you in your future. So for me, I am really like looking forward to this because man, this to me, I'm ready. I'm excited for it. And like honestly, like this is just one of those things that it's like I know what I want to do and I can't wait to go in there and do it. And then whenever I do it, I know exactly what I want to do next. Like I know what steps I want to take. Steps I want to take next right after, because I really do feel like it's going to be a spectacular performance, and I really feel like it's only going to raise both of our stocks. And at the end of the day, I feel like me getting the knockout is just only going to raise it even more higher for me.
So you get another knockout, you get another bonus. Just say like, is your nickname officially Mr. Knockout?
Man, it might be. It might be. So that would be 4 in a row, 4 knockouts in a row. It would be the Contenders. Then it'd be
Brady, right? Brady Huang. Yeah.
Yeah. So it'd be 4 in a row, and then like out of my last 6 fights, 5 of them are knockouts. So it just added another one, so it'd be 6 knockouts. So man, it would be I guess it would have to be, man. Like Derek Lewis got the knockout king, and I'll keep you Mr. Knockout. That'd be fine too.
Yeah, I like that. The Knockout Bros in H-Town. What was I about to say? I was about to damn. I had a question off of that, but I guess we can move on. No. So you said that you know what you want. You already know what you want to do next. I won't ask for specifics because that'll ruin the moment, but I would like to maybe take a gander. There's a certain, and I don't know, because like you said, you know where you are in the division and you're pretty realistic about it, which I think is just yet another good thing about the career of Adrian Yanez so far, is that you got ahead on you. But So you have somebody in mind in your crosshairs? Because there's a certain colorful, somewhat superstar, in the division that said anybody unranked who needs their butt kicked besides me is basically what he said. What's in your crosshairs?
That it would probably, you know what, honestly, that's my second contract. That's in my second contract.
That makes sense.
Yeah, not the first UFC contract. They want you to fight, like, everybody wants you to go in there and jump in, like, on your first UFC contract, wants you to fight the killers of the killers, and wants you to go in.
Oh, you there?
Damn scam likely calls, man. It's the damn.
Oh, dude, don't get me started.
Yeah. So yeah, no. It honestly, like, a lot of these fighters, they don't take an actual look and map their career out. And I know I'm still young. I'm 27, and honestly, I know for sure I got a good 5 years. And then even after that, I have a great 5 years. 32, be 32, and then 33 is like usually whenever everybody kind of starts to dwindle down a little bit. And I know I'd be able to still fight even past that. So, you gotta map your career out and kind of be strategic about it and fight the right fights. He would definitely be one of those guys that'd be in the second contract. Most of these guys,
you got to keep it chambered though. You got to save something for down the road. So I understand that.
Oh yeah, like especially right now, like they want you to fight. They want you to fight Peter Yan on your first contract, and you just no. If he's gonna get that type of money, and I'm over here gonna get paid 10 and 10, I'm not doing it. Like no, yeah. It's like it has to be worth it, So that's just you got. Also, that's another thing going back to these other fights. A lot of these other fighters, But that's another reason why that dude Chris
Moutinho.
Yeah, that's the reason why he got paid. He took the risk and ended up getting a better contract than most of these starters. Get. So honestly, it's he kind of weighed out the risk versus reward and was able to come out on top.
And now he's got his foot in the door. That's what he kept saying. He kept saying like that this is an opportunity that he couldn't pass up, like regardless of his preparation level or anything.
Oh yeah. So. That he might be the next fight. I don't know. It'd be fun.
That would be cool.
I don't want to be known as the guy that takes Sean O'Malley's sloppy seconds. So I don't know.
Absolutely. And I didn't mean to push a Sugar Sean narrative into this because I know that you probably got your own ideas. It's just of the questions that I fielded, there were a good amount that already want to see that. I'm sure you know.
You know what? Besides I think I'm a great matchup for Sean O'Malley. Like, just personally. I was looking at the fight, and I was looking at it with Fighter Eyes. You know what fight would actually, like, is actually, like, I look at it and I find it intriguing, is actually, like, Randy Costa versus Sugar Sean O'Malley.
Well, yeah, that's interesting because I was about to say that this fight that you are about to have is going to be an interesting meter to see how you would fare against like a longer, taller guy at the division, that or for us on the main stage, like because I'm sure you maybe fought a guy taller before, but on this level. So I think Randy Costa Sugar would be crazy too. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how many anytime he comments or something, I don't know how many people will say like he should fight Sugar. Because like, man, honestly, this division is like whether you like it or not, it's kind of almost being ran by Sugar Sean O'Malley. Like, sometimes it's like some people can't accept it, but he does have this division kind of like in a stranglehold. Like, he pretty much whatever he says, everybody's jumping up to try to fight him. Everybody wants to fight this guy.
The leverage is insane.
He's the guy that is going to get you the most attention in this. Like, even if you, look at the amount of followers he has, and look how much attention he'll bring to a fight. Look at this guy. He like dude Chris. He overnight sensation. This guy.
Overnight about 70,000 followers and like. I don't know. Was it like that for you for Contender Series in your UFC debut too?
Man, my Contenders it jumped up a bit, and I remember just it didn't jump up crazy, but at the time I thought it was a crazy amount. It jumped up like because because I was at like 1,000 followers just on my own, and then after the contenders, it jumped to 3,000. Then after the UC debut, I got like 6,000, 7,000 followers. But after the Gustavo fight, that's the one that shot me up in numbers. Like I ended up getting like 18,000, almost 19,000 followers. So that's where I'm at on Instagram. But on Twitter, like right now, I think I'm at like 11, 12K, like 11,000, like 11,000. And man, like it's a lot harder to get followers on Twitter than it is on Instagram. And
for sure.
But the amount of level of like followers on Twitter, like means more. It definitely means more than the ones on Instagram. Because like,
Twitter you engage, yeah.
Oh yeah, on Instagram. Oh dude, it's a different platform. Man, I don't even want to get into that because Twitter is so much easier to getting back with people and actually responding to people and like having conversations. On Instagram, it's so much harder. I try to comment on some of these to reply to some of these people that get into my comments, and it's so hard. It refreshes so much. It's like just I don't know what it is, but it glitches me out, and I get tired of it. That I'm just like I give up.
Yeah, no word. It's definitely. I started out on Instagram, and then I had a buddy who was like, his name was Kebab Armageddon, and he had this like Khabib like profile or whatever, and he would message me. He never broke character, and he'd be like, "Brother, you need to come to MMA Twitter. I promise, brother, they will love you." And I was like, I don't know, Twitter's not really my thing. And then I hopped on, and it's so different. It's nice to keep them separated for sure.
Oh yeah.
So what do you think on and this may be me as a fan, like kind of jumping the gun, but I want to know what you think. And we only have 2 more questions after this, so we'll get you out of here. Sorry about the extended interview, but what are your thoughts on the promotional chemistry with Costa? Y'all are engaging, y'all have been engaging with the fans and with each other the whole time, socially with them. I wonder, since you're both so young, since it was a surprising matchup for a lot of people, since y'all are both so young and promising, what do you think about the chances of you needing to fight that guy again in the future, no matter how it goes? Like, what do you ever think about anything like that? Like the potential of what your promotional work and if it can carry over after the fight?
Man, honestly, I think either way this fight goes, I do see us fighting again in the future. Well, whether it's a win or a loss, I do see us fighting again in the future because I know where my mindset's at, and I know I just only want to get better, and I want to keep moving up the rankings. I want to keep moving up until I'm at the top. And I know if the way I feel that's the way Randy is right now. And if I'm correct, I will meet him down the line again. So man, these little promotional things, they're all great, but also we had to kind of perform inside the cage. Then after, we have to keep performing. We have to stay consistent with our performances. If I beat Randy and Randy goes on a 2-fight losing streak, it kind of takes away the wind out of the sails for a rematch or anything else like that. But if I stop him, then he goes out there and gets 2 spectacular performances. Next thing you know, like we're both in the top 15. Next thing you know, we get matched up again, makes it only even bigger, and be like, look, after this fight, I got better. I'm like more determined. I'm more this. I'm more that, and like it makes the fight way more interesting. So, to me, I think it only builds up for something bigger in the future, anyways. And also, I'm pretty sure like win, lose or draw, we're both gonna be so cool after because. Man, it's a fight. It honestly, it's a fight, and whatever happens in the cage happens in the cage. And after, it's still a sport, so you can still be cool. I'm over here thinking I'm gonna knock him out. He's over here thinking he's gonna knock me out. I like I said, like I think round 2 knockout. He's probably going out there thinking like, no, I'm gonna knock him out. I'm gonna knock him stiff. So hey, let's see who can do it first. Like I believe I'm gonna do it. I think I'm gonna do it in a spectacular fashion. So man, I think it just builds up for something bigger.
For sure. And like you said, you never know what's going to happen, but that's just something that's been bouncing around in my head. Before I even messaged you to interview you, I was just sitting back, lax and thinking about Costa Yanez down the road, even though it hasn't happened even the first time. So that's my little dork heart getting a question out. But I wanted to get a little insight into like a fighter's mindset towards, like, it's kind of weird because you're not looking past the opponent because it's the same opponent you're looking past towards the future. Like, I don't know if that was worded right, but you know what I mean? Okay. So this is the real serious stuff. Any update on any Dr. Pepper correspondence? Is it necessary for Octagon Jones and Adrian Yanez to lay siege on the Plano headquarters, the good doctor's offices? I've got the address pulled up.
Dude, man, I'm telling you right now, the only thing I've gotten back was a tweet back, and that's the only thing I've received since. And you know what? I was actually talking to one of my training partners, and he was like, "Dude, my mom used to work for Dr. Pepper," and I was like, "What the fuck, man? Hook me up or like, dude, find something, help me out." And come to find out that she don't work there anymore. She got no pool. I'm like, all right, whatever. I could have it could have helped me out, but right now, man, like barely getting responded back to. Only got like a tweet back, but I'm gonna keep pushing for it, man. Because hey, dude, I love this shit.
I've got the battle maps and the plans ready to go. I've got them here on my desktop. So you just let me know when you're ready, and I'll start the siege countdown. It'll be we'll get it done. This is my last question, and it's something that Teddy Atlas, you've been asked a lot about him because he's such a, he's expressed himself as such a big fan of yours already. You were a fan of him as a kid. So I'm not trying to keep bringing up stuff that other people have talked about, but it's interesting. And this is something that I think we'll get some fruitful stuff for, and we'll leave it at that. I want to hear more on your mindset when it comes to overestimating fighters and fighting to you. Overestimating, that sounds bad, but I'm sure Adrian will explain what I mean. I want to hear more about your mindset when it comes to overestimating fighters and fighting to your ability instead of theirs, as well as the competitor's mindset and giving nothing, taking everything, like he says. Because when I hear someone like Teddy Atlas say that as a sports fan my whole life, that harkens me back to all the greats across any sport. Just when you say something like that, it's balance, it's offense, it's defense, it's composure, it's the calm in the eye of the storm. Like those are the ingredients of the greats. So what I'd want to hear more about, like, your competitive mindset when it comes to, your calmness and, giving nothing, taking everything. That's something that's really powerful that he's expressed, and I want to hear more about that.
Oh, man. So going back to the beginning of it, like the overestimating, like I used to do that so much. Like it used to be like a hindrance on me where I overestimated a lot of people. It used to kind of hindrance because I would go in the cage kind of very like gun shy. So it'd be like, oh man, like I wouldn't do enough, or like I wouldn't fully go. And the overestimation, you just like it kind of. It's a double-edged sword. It's a good thing and it's also a bad thing. For me, like after the first 30 seconds and I see how fast the person is, I'm like, oh, I thought you were way faster. Like, oh shoot, I thought you had way more power. Oh crap, I thought your wrestling was a lot better. Oh snap, like dude, like your jiu-jitsu's not that great. So like the overestimation on a lot of things can be a good thing and a bad thing, because in a bad ways, it kind of makes you gun shy. You're like, oh shit, like you're thinking the whole entire time. It kind of makes you scared. It puts a little bit of fear in you. But the overestimation, then once you realize that, like, oh shit, he's not that fast. It's more of a like, oh, okay, like
word.
I know now. It's like I know, like it's a lot easier. So that's the overestimation part and everything. Like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. But I find my happy medium. I do have my happy medium because, like, man, I've already fought so much that none of it's going to be a surprise to me. Like, I've already fought so much, like, 16 pro fights, and then also 6 amateur fights, so 22 fights overall. I've already fought some of the fastest guys, or I've already fought some of the more powerful guys. Dude, look at Miles Johns, what he did to dude Kevin TV the same night I did.
Yeah.
Like,
I was about to ask you about Miles Johns. I forgot to, but you know, now he's on your under. Like that's kind of weird, isn't it? Like he's fighting below you on this card after like y'all's history. That's not in history, but you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, like dude, just look at what he's doing to everybody else. Like he's ragdolling everybody else, but like whenever we fought each other, it was like more like we both did the overestimation, and we're both kind of a little bit nervous, you know. So that's a great example. And then like now it's just so much easier. Like I fought these guys with power. I fought these guys with kicks that are really great. My professional debut is against a guy who's a national champion in Taekwondo, and like bro, like that was nerve wracking once I found that out. But after
of course,
going, like, oh, this ain't that bad. And then you know, Kyle Estrada, a guy who's just like a phenomenal kicker, like a Muay Thai specialist, Muay Thai guy, and like it's honestly just one of those things that like I'm so comfortable now fighting that it's just like it's just so much easier for me to to walk in there and just not have no fear, not have no nothing, because like I've already walked the walk so many times that it's another day for me. I remember my coach Saul, and actually Miles John's coach Saeed from in Fortis MMA.
Yeah.
We were talking, and he was like, "Man, like trust me, you'll get there." He's like, "You'll get to the UFC." He's like, "And when you get there, man, you're gonna walk into that cage, and you're gonna go in there." He's like, "Oh shit, this is it." Like you're gonna have that like you're not like he's like you fought so much that as soon as you're getting in there, like you're not gonna have the jitters. You're gonna walk in there and be like, "Oh shit, this is it." Like he didn't say it in a bad way, but what he said is like this is it. Like it's still a fight. It's still everything that you're so used to.
Yeah, it's just it's wrapped up in a different box. Like at the end of the day, it's still this and you know all the weapons you got.
Oh yeah, so I had took that to heart, man. I remember talking to my coach and just kind of like we talked about it a little bit, and then after that, one thing that my coach added to is just enjoy the process, enjoy being there, enjoy the moments too. So like that's what's made it so much easier for me. And like walking in there, I'm like, I'm gonna fight, and I'm like almost like going back to what Teddy Atlas was saying, give nothing and take everything, and that's exactly what I try to do every single time. And man, every time I'm in there, I always try to look and notice for certain little breaking points, certain little things that I know that I'm looking at. I was like, oh, he's not doing this anymore. Like he's not smiling anymore. Like in that Gustavo fight, he was giving me smiles every once in a while, trying to throw me off my game, and trying to smile, trying to do little things here, little here, and little there. But I remember one time he smiled, and I threw a teep to the body, and that smile changed to a frown real quick. And I remember,
is that when the ref was like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" Like because he thought it was a nut shot, and then you were like, "That hit you in the cup," or like because I thought I saw you talking to him too.
Oh no, that one was completely different. That like that teep happened a little bit later on during the round. But that nut shot, I was like, he acted like he didn't act like it hurt, but the ref was like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I told Gustavo, I was like, I looked down and I saw the compression shorts that he had, and they were the Diamond Cup MMA compression shorts, and I was like, that's what I got. You kicked me. I was like, you kicked me there. Like I feel nothing. I was like, you have that cup. I was like, you're good. You got a Diamond MMA cup. He's that's when he laughed. He's like, that's when because dude, like I'm telling you, most of these guys who get hit in the nuts and like they're like rolling on the floor, I was like, get you a Diamond MMA cup, dude. Like get you, because they save you so much. Like you don't feel it. Like you really don't feel it. Like it's that damn good, man. I stand behind this. Like I really stand behind these guys. It's so yeah, like going on to it, like I remember the facial change. So I look for small things, and once I see it, I know I put more on. And then also, dude, I'm just so calm in there. I've already done it so many times that it's a calming thing. I enjoy being in there. So like if you're in there enjoying something, you know, you're gonna be calm.
Absolutely. And so the thing when like you said, it could be a good thing and a bad thing with the overestimating. Is that and that's part of why in your training camps you tend to focus more on yourself now instead of your opponents, because like you never know what's going to happen at the end of the day, so you got to focus on you instead of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I completely missed that part. But yeah, no, I
No,
completely.
you covered it. I just wanted to go back to it. You covered it.
Oh yeah, no. Yeah, I like to focus on myself, man. Because on a moment's notice, you'll be fighting somebody else. Like it happens. It's happened to me so many times on the regional circuit, and happened to me happened to me on my UFC debut, and then also it kind of almost happened to me on my contenders, because I was actually like they had this other guy lined up to fight me instead of Brady. I think I was supposed to get like this guy from Atlanta named like Colin or something like that. He was like 8-0, but the guy ended up turning down the contender shot, and Brady got the fight against me. So weird side mark, but it almost happened to me. So like I really don't focus on them. I focus on me and what I'm gonna do. And like I of course you're gonna make adjustments on the fly, but you know that's just the way. Like you adjust, you advance, and pretty much just adjust and advance. That's the way I like to think about it, and that's the way I like to fight.
I heard you say something in one of these interviews. You were saying, I don't like when I see something a lot of because it's interesting to hear you say this because you're a pretty patient cat in there, and we're going to let you go soon. I'm sorry. I'm very grateful. So you're a really patient cat in there, but damn, dude, hold on. Oh, I thought we had the same one. My bad. I thought we had the same big old Texas water bottle. Next time. But it's interesting.
No, I got the Texas Spring from HEB, bro.
Oh, classic. Yeah, mine's the Crystal Geyser. It's I don't think it's from HEB. I think it's.
You're the poser. No, that's
yeah, no, for sure. So it's kind of cool to see the dichotomy of you being such a patient, like cerebral fighter, and then I feel like that almost kind of lends itself to what I'm about to say. You as soon as you see an opportunity, you take it. Like you don't wait on shit. And I was thinking about that all last night because that's really, it's interesting to weigh the difference there. I'd like to know what you think about that as like trying to analyze yourself, like the difference between your patience and your initiative, maybe.
And honestly, it's one of those things that like I've always been told, like, you know what? You know, it's actually really weird that always stuck in my mind. That's always stuck in my mind is there's a car place that fix up cars. There's a this on the tip of my tongue. It's like they fix up cars, and it's a garage. And every single time I come back from running, I pass by that car place, and they have a sign and every single time they said something differently. But I remember one day it said if the opportunity if a door of opportunity opens up, you don't walk through it, you run through it. And I remember seeing that just stuck in my head, and it's stuck in my head, and I kind of like to think about that all the time. You know, it's like if opportunity presents itself, you run through it. You don't walk, you run to it, especially in fighting. Because you don't know when you're gonna get that chance again. You don't know when things will happen. Like, man, this whole entire fight, like, I would be surprised if Randy Costa didn't throw a kick. But if he went through this whole fight and didn't throw a kick, the opportunity never presented itself or anything like that. So it'd be like, it's one of those that, like, if he throws one kick during that fight, he might not never throw one for the rest of the fight. So you have to take every opportunity into account. But then also, like, you have to, like, in the actual cage itself, like, analyzing the fighter, you have to sit back, and you have to be patient. You have to be patient, and you can't be too patient where you're not throwing anything. So you got to make opportunities yourself. You got to make them. You got to open up some spots, you know. And also that was on that garage place was pretty much was say if like the opportunity doesn't present itself, you build the door and then you walk through it. So that I kind of keep that too. So
I like that one more.
Oh, I like all of them. They have a good one right now. I actually am gonna go back to read. It's a new one almost every other week, man. I love it. Like I love it. Like it's
that's how it is in San Antonio. We got all the Mexican restaurants with the like inspirational signs that they change out all the time. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So that's exactly what they have. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, like making opportunities for yourself, and then if opportunity presents itself, you run through it. You know, so like that's exactly how I feel like I fight. I try to create an opportunity myself, and then when the opportunity presents itself, you run through it. So that's exactly how I feel, and I feel like that's a great way to explain how I fight. Like, because any mistake you make, I'm capitalizing on it tenfold.
Yeah, giving nothing, taking everything. Adrian Yanez. I mean, you're one of my favorites. I appreciate the time very, very much. You gave me a whole hour. I'm feeling spoiled since we're talking about opportunity. We'll wrap it up. I just want to give you a window of opportunity to, get whatever you need to say off your chest. Yanez MMA, you got a website, all your coaches, let them have it. Let it rip.
Oh, yeah, man. Big thanks to my coach, Saul Solis. If it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be in the position I am today. Big shout out to my management team, Meridian Sports Agency. They make sure I'm well covered. I'm great. And then also hit up my website, yanezmma.com. I do have merch there. I do have some hats and shirts that are up for sale. And also I had somebody send me a design of like something that I might be doing here pretty soon. Dr. Pepper oriented, like a spoof version that I might throw up on there just so I can try to throw something up there. But man, it's been great. Fight Back CBD, another company that's been helping me out throughout this training camp. And it's been amazing, man. Thank you for the platform.
Oh, dude, my platform, Sue platform. I'm very, very grateful, Adrian. I could have chatted with you for another hour, but you're a much busier guy than I, and I don't want to be selfish. So I appreciate it. And you have a lovely lead up to your fight week. The best of luck, dude.
Thank you, man. Have a good one.